Greetings, YouTubers. Today I'm going to talk about what I do for food. I mean, you've seen a couple of episodes where I've cooked some meals, and I think you probably have a good idea. But I thought I'd go over that. I went over some other things yesterday, and this just seemed like another appropriate thing to kind of go over. Right now, this is my ice chest. I don't have like a 12-volt RV refrigerator yet. It's on my list, but resources and timing and need, I think, are probably driving some of my weight for that. What I have instead is down here, a little off screen, is a 110-volt freezer that I bought at a garage sale for $20. It was intended for use on a boat, I believe. It has a locking door, although I don't use the lock because it's down too low. I just put a piece of duct tape on there to just hold. The door stays closed by itself when it's running. But I put a piece of duct tape on there just to make sure that it stays closed. Because it opens from the front. Whenever you do that, cold air just falls out and runs onto the floor, and you lose all that cold air. So I keep a piece of tape on there just to ensure that the freezer stays closed and as cold as it possibly can. Right now I have my stove sitting on top of it, which is something that I don't normally do because there's heat coils up here on the top, and that heat needs to leave. But in order for me to show you this, I needed to kind of move things off to the side a little bit. So what I use the freezer for is to freeze water. I have some 1-gallon jugs that have water in them, and I freeze those, and then I put them in here to keep my food cold. And those, the jugs keep the water inside, so I don't have a bunch of liquid down at the bottom of the ice chest. So here's one of those jugs, and you can see it's got a good chunk of ice up in it. I put these in yesterday around noon. And I don't keep a lot of stuff in here. I'm actually trying to reduce the number of items that I keep in here because of spoilage. What I do keep is some cheese. I've got a couple of different varieties of cheese. I like cheese. It's not good for me, but I like it. And I use the cheese, like I can make quesadillas out of these. Sometimes I'll take, this is mozzarella. Sometimes I'll take this and I'll slice tomatoes and with some other herbs and seasonings and stuff. I'll sprinkle a little mozzarella on top of my tomatoes. Margarine, I should probably keep better, but I don't. And then I have some diced ham that I've never opened. I don't know if I'm going to keep it. I don't know why I haven't eaten it. I haven't. So cheese. I also have some cold carbonated beverages. I don't really drink a lot of these. At least I haven't historically, but lately I've kind of developed a taste for them. So anyway, and then I have these are some biotic things that I kept for Rachel. Rachel's had kind of a sensitive stomach, and this was always good for her. She's in Greeley now, so I don't really see any need to keep those, and I may get rid of them here shortly. But that's my cooler. Not a whole lot in there. The freezer and water jug combination has worked pretty well for this. There were a couple of days, about 2, 3, maybe 4 days, where I was in some pretty elevated temperatures. And I was gone. I think that was probably more of an issue than the elevated temperature, although they contributed. But I was gone. I went on some day trips to Yellowstone and to Mesa Falls. And so, I mean, I was in some beautiful country, and I wanted to go see it, so I did. And I locked up the trailer and was gone all day. And, it was probably 95 degrees outside, ambient, give or take. And I'm sure inside here it got well above 100. So my freezer ice chest combination had a little trouble keeping up in that circumstance. So this is my refrigerated stuff. I'm trimming that down to keep as little need for refrigeration as possible, at least for the time being. I want to have refrigeration, but you know, right now this is what I've got, and I'm trying to keep it at a minimum. Okay, this is a mess. I'm going to warn you now. What's in here are my canned goods and dry goods, and I'll just go over some of the items that I keep as food items here. So, beans. So, I've read somewhere, and I wish I could recall where, but there are 3 food items that contain like 95%, maybe more, of the enzymes that your body needs in order to survive. So, I mean, you need nutrients and all that stuff, but there's some other things, some enzymes apparently, that are kind of important. 3 food items: beans, rice, and wheat. If you have those 3 items, most of your nutritional needs are met, at least as far as the enzymes are concerned. It's one of the discussions that I've heard in regards to vegetarianism, that meat has an enzyme in it that you can't get anywhere else. Well, eating beans, rice, and wheat together apparently has those enzymes in it, and will go a long way to keeping you nutritionally healthy. So I get these small ones because they're 1 serving. What I don't like about these beans is that I have to heat them up in a pot, which means I got to wash the pot, which means I need to use water, or at least wipe it out, use a little bit of something to kind of clean up after myself. Another bean item that I use is refried beans. These I'll make burritos out of, as you saw. Sometimes I'll just heat these up and I'll put them over chips, and I'll add maybe some salsa or sriracha, or some other onions, tomatoes, things to enhance that. And then the other thing that I like is chili. This is a single can of chili. I'd eat that whole can. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll cut up a couple of hot dogs. If I have something in my refrigerator down here, I'll pull a hot dog and I'll brown it up, and then add this to the cut up browned pieces of hot dog. Ramen. I have a lot of this. There are a couple of things that I like about the ramen. I have beef, chicken, and shrimp. I keep meaning to get a can of shrimp, but it's like $4 a can. So every time I go and look, I kind of cringe and say, I don't know. But so anyway, I'm saving these until I can add some real shrimp to it. So anyway, I've got a lot of ramen. This is something I discovered while I went shopping yesterday. Underwood meat spreads. This is chicken. I haven't used it yet, but it's canned meat. It was a little on the pricey side. I think it was right around $2 for these, and I got 3 of them. So my intention for these is to be able to open them and then spread them over crackers or bread and make a sandwich out of them. The other thing I get are these. This is rice that's basically already cooked. All you have to do is heat it up. I don't know how I feel about this. This is easy. I don't need to cook rice for 20 minutes. I just need to heat this up and it's done. So anyway, I have them, and I've eaten 1 or 2, and they're good. But I'm still not quite decided on how I feel about these yet, because they're expensive. I can make rice cheaper than I can buy this. Although this comes with flavorings. I don't need to use propane for 20 minutes to cook the rice. I don't know. I'm still debating this one, but they're good. I like them. More chili. These you've seen these. This is Herdez chili. I get a half a dozen of these. I really like them. I can just pop the can, I dump it into a bowl, and get some chips out. Got a quick meal. I love chips and salsa. Sometimes I'll add cheese to this. Onions, fresh onions, if I had any kind of other vegetables that I might have, I would add to this. It's also good. I mixed it with some ramen. I put this and a cup of water and the little flavoring packet and the ramen in a pot and heated it all up, and then put the noodles in and then continued to heat it until the noodles were cooked. It was really good. I'll probably do that again sometime in the future. Anyway, some more of the Underwood canned meats. The other thing I found with the Underwood canned meats are these little things called potted meat. It's a meat spread. Have not used them yet, but they were 48 cents. And I mean, it's a little tiny can of meat. It's not huge, but you know, again, spread it over crackers or some bread, quick meal. And another thing that I look at too is I haven't mentioned it on these other products, but I look for calories. This has got 200 calories in it. For that little can, that's quite a bit of calories, and so I can have, you know, a lot of nutritional value, caloric value in a small container. So I look for those. Canned chicken. These are about $1, $1.50, depending on where you get them. Calories per serving 45, and there's 2.5, so 90. 110 calories, give or take, in a canned chicken. And what I'll do with this is I'll add this to chicken ramen. Some other things that I bought to go along with this, I'll show you here in a minute. This is the first time I've bought these things, is dehydrated vegetables, freeze-dried vegetables. Expensive buggers. Yeah, my grocery bill this month was a little higher than I would like it to be, but I think they'll probably last me several months. So I'm not too concerned. Oh, that 12 minutes is really beginning to get irritating. There's something out there called a magic lantern, and I've actually looked at it in the past. I tried to be a professional photographer at one time. What I hadn't really thought about is the fact that there are 10 million other professional photographers out there, all undercutting the other one to keep their prices low. Anyway, long story short is that I couldn't make any money as a photographer, and at least not enough to meet my needs. But there was some software that I looked at that would go into this camera. It's called Magic Lantern, and it replaces the firmware. But it came with all kinds of warnings like this could melt your camera. I mean, seriously, it was really... And I thought, you know what? I spent a lot of money for this camera. I am not going to risk it. So anyway, but I do have to endure that 12 minutes. I'm not sure where the 12 minutes ended up at. I was talking about the chicken, $1.25, mix it with ramen. Sometimes I'll throw in a thing of Herdez salsa to go along with it. Really good. The other thing that I like to get are these little packets of tuna. These are 150 calories. They're small. I can get, you know, a lot of them in a small area. And I get the ones that are packed in some sort of oil. This is sunflower oil because they have more calories. Again, I'm looking for calories, you know, more calories in a small package. So I get those. The other thing that I get, because I really like it, I think they're good for you. And they're not too expensive. These are about $1.50, $2. They're kipper snacks. It's basically herring, canned herring. And I'll get these out and put some sriracha or mustard or some other sauce on a cracker, and then put a little dollop of kipper snack on top of the cracker and eat those. I really like them. These are 110 calories per serving, and there's 1.5 servings. So 160, so about 200 calories roughly, give or take. So pretty good source of calories. I haven't bought these before. These are Ortega Dice Green chilies. They don't have a pop top. Everybody else is putting these. I like those. I don't have to go find my can opener. But anyway, these are good for just flavoring, additional flavorings. Got myself some more pickled ginger. This does not need to be refrigerated until I open it. And honestly, I don't know that it needs to be refrigerated after opening. I mean, the whole notion of pickling, I thought, was to preserve food so that you did not have to refrigerate it. So anyway, I got some of that. I use sushi nori for flavoring. You saw that in one of my sandwiches. The other thing that I like to get are instant mashed potatoes. They don't taste as good as a real potato. I tried buying a bag of real fresh potatoes and they went bad in a week. And they stink to high heaven. So I've opted for these. They're quick, they're simple. I can, put a quarter cup of this into a paper bowl and add some hot water. And I've got some quick calories and, quick meal. 80 calories per serving, per 1/3 cup of powder, half cup prepared. So 80 calories per serving. Not a lot of calories packed in that, but it's a nice little addition to some of the other things that I've got here. Let's see, what else? I haven't used this yet, another Pop Top. This is, already prepared soup. You don't need to add water or anything to it, just heat it up. So, but they were kind of pricey. These were like $2.50, $3. So a little on the pricey side, but it's quick and simple. I got some of these mac and cheese cups. Rachel liked them, so I have a bunch of them here. The problem is that they require to be microwaved. I don't have a microwave, and just pouring hot water in them and letting them soak, the noodles don't get quite done. So, not quite the food quality that I would like. I get packets of instant gravy to add to my mashed potatoes. Some more tuna, more ramen. Another one of those rice packets. This is a mixed wild rice, tomato sauce. The other thing I get, which is probably way down here at the bottom, are soups. So I get just cans of Campbell's soup, cream of asparagus. Those aren't too bad. They're usually about $1, give or take. These are a little on the pricey side, but this is Spam, as you can see, but it is bacon flavored. And I like these because it's canned and I can keep it without refrigerating it. I slice it really thin, and then I fry it in a pan like you would bacon, and I get it crispy. And yeah, it's really good. And I think it probably has a ton of calories in it. 180 calories per serving, and there are 6 servings in here. There's 1,000 calories in this little can. So I like that. Some more beans, more Spam. So that looks like that pretty well covers the dry products. Well, I get the small containers of mayonnaise. I don't need to refrigerate this until I open it. I have an opened one in my ice chest as we speak. Yep. Okay. Notice how highly organized I am here, right? It was organized at one time. Rachel did an outstanding job of organizing it. And then, you go digging for stuff and somehow it ends up disorganized. So, I mean, this is probably enough food to last me more than a month. Easily, more than a month. And usually, like the refried beans, when I make a burrito, I'll make 4 of them, eat 2 and save 2. And then the last time I made them, to reheat the ones that were leftovers, I put a little oil in a pan and fried them and made like chimichangas out of them. They were really good. Okay. Oops. Okay. So some other things I like to get. Let's raise this up a little bit. There. This is what were these called back in the day? They're basically a little shredded wheat. They're little chunks of shredded wheat with some strawberry fruit. I don't put milk over them. I just pour these into a bowl dry and I use them for snacks. Probably has more sugar than I need, but I really like them. I get granola, and I'll usually add this to I have a bowl of oatmeal in the morning, and I'll add this to my bowl of oatmeal. Sugar, nuts. I like to get nuts. I have pecans and walnuts currently, some sunflower seeds, some peanuts. The other thing that I get, I don't keep liquid milk, I keep powdered milk. I don't drink milk straight, but I use this for like adding it to my coffee. I'll add it to my oatmeal, things like that. So powdered milk keeps forever in this little packet. So I also have some all-in-one Krusty's pancake mix. Just add water and you got pancakes. I usually add a little bit of oil and just a tiny bit of sugar. You don't want to add too much because it burns. And that, as they say, is not good eats. Okay, so that's some of my dry products. This is something that I found at the Walmart here. I actually have another source that I've been wanting to try, but these were on the shelf, and I thought, oh, I got to try this and see how it works. These are freeze-dried blackberries. I have strawberries, I have carrots, and corn. So I bought 4 cans of it. The problem is this was like 25 bucks, and I bought 4 cans. It was $100. But I think that this will probably last me a very long time, and they look good. They're I don't know if you can see that, probably not. But I mean, you know, they're a good-sized raspberry, freeze-dried. Not bad. But I add this to my oatmeal. I have a little bullet blender that my cousin got for me. I'm going to use these to make some smoothies. I like smoothies. So these look handy. The other thing that I do is I buy fresh bananas. These keep really well. So this was a bundle of 6. I've already eaten 2. I try to get at least a little bit of fresh fruit or vegetable every time I go shopping. I also bought a couple of fresh tomatoes. These are still a little green. But I'll slice these up and you know, put some seasonings on them. A little bit of balsamic vinegar, some mozzarella cheese on top, Italian herbs, that kind of stuff, basil. And it's really good, light meal. I find it filling, and I love tomatoes, so those are good. Let's see if I can get to these. Freeze-dried carrots. This is the other thing that I get, because I think it's healthy. I wonder if this will help. Let me turn on a light here. Does that help at all? Yeah. So they're canned, basically canned fruit. They come in these little plastic cups. Good little single servings, and good for you. So I get those. I get plain saltine crackers for you know, putting on you know, the little canned meats and other things. Sprinkle these in soup. They're just very versatile, so I use these quite a bit. Graham crackers. I like these because they're whole wheat. They're sweet. I have a jar of honey, and I'll put a little bit of honey on one of these and make myself kind of like a little dessert meal out of them. A little bit of a sweet tooth, what can I say? Milk wafers for snacking. These are, I forget how much these were, but I mean, they're cheaper than most other cookies that I found. Some other canned single-serving products, applesauce, mixed berry applesauce, unsweetened, some butterscotch pudding. These aren't cheap either, but they're good, and I mean, I gotta have a little bit of a variety, I guess, is probably a good word, but something other than just ramen. One thing I keep a pretty good supply of is spices. I mean, I can take something as simple as ramen and I can mix stuff and make each meal a little bit different. You know, so I keep chili powder, celery flakes, liquid smoke. Wright's is what I used to use. This happens to be Stubbs, but it's pretty good too. Salt, pepper, Italian seasonings, garlic, Lowry's seasoned salt, great on avocados, by the way. Curry, I love a good curry. I like a bad curry. I'm not a picky eater. Syrup, sometimes I'll add this to my oatmeal. Soy sauce, I called this sesame oil the other day. Cilantro leaves, good chelator. Cinnamon, add that to my oatmeal. Barbecue sauce, sriracha, mustard, sesame oil, honey. So pretty good array of stuff. Minced onions, dried onions. So that'll help flavor stuff quite a bit and keep things from getting too boring. You know, you can mix and match that stuff and create some pretty varied meals. Oh, in there. There we go. Yeah, I made all this so that stuff wouldn't fall out and root. It won't come out at all. Some other things that I get. I get quick oats. So this is my typical breakfast. And now that I've got the raspberries, I also got strawberries. So I'll be able to add some fruit to this in the morning. Okay. All right. I know some of you are going to really leap on this, but instant coffee. It's quick. It's easy. I just need to heat up some water. I'm not that picky. It's caffeine. I add a scoop of cocoa to it and I don't know, about 3 or 4 spoonfuls of powdered milk, and it works for me. But I know some folks are, you know, they really like their coffee, and trust me, I used to keep an espresso machine at my desk. People didn't know my name, but they knew me as, you know, the guy with the espresso machine at his desk. So anyway, I was the first Starbucks. Not really. I think they were around long before I was, but. Let's see, what else? I keep Ziploc bags. These are 1-quart storage bags that I just kind of put stuff in. Paper towels, tortillas, plastic or paper cups, bread. I get whole wheat bread. I haven't been able to get this. This is like 22 grains and seeds, so it sounded good. I'm anxious to try this. I just got it yesterday, so I don't know what it's like yet. I also try to get meats that don't require refrigeration. I was looking for beef logs. They were out of beef logs. How do you get out of beef logs? But they have these pepperoni sticks, so I'll cut this up and use it as a source of meat protein. And I like pepperoni. Another thing that I'll do is I'll get chips. I tend to get these just because I like them, and I'll pour a cup of the Herdez salsa into a paper bowl, and I'll use these to scoop that up with and make a meal out of it. So that works for me. What else? I think that's it. So that was 3 12-minute segments. I think probably I should stop here. Almost 3 12-minute segments. This one isn't quite done yet, but anyway, so that's how I eat. That's my approach to food. I'm going to turn this a little bit this way, see if I get a little better light. And you know, everybody's got different taste, and your needs and wants and all of that are going to vary. Experiment. The key goals that I look for are, the most amount of calories in the smallest package. Will it require refrigeration, or can I keep it dry? Will it keep for a long time? Nutritional value, not real huge on my list. I mean, I've really skipped, ramen. Hello, not a real nutritional meal, but it's quick, it's simple, it's cheap, and I try to keep my meals right around $3 per day, $3.50. Yesterday I splurged when I went shopping. I stopped and I had a double bacon cheeseburger. Oh, it was good. So anyway, that's my eating habits, and then every once in a while I'll try and show you me preparing one of these meals and how I do that. News on another front is I don't know if you guys remember the fraudulent charge that I had about, I think it was about 2 months ago, $800, left me with $4 in my bank account. That was scary. Anyway, I've been fighting with that, and as it turns out, there is a clause in a contract that I had with a certain organization, and it's an organization that my ex and daughter still do business with, but apparently there was an unpaid balance there, and in the clause, in this fine text, was the option for them to just take money out of my bank account. I agreed to that. Man, I don't know anybody that reads that small print, but I don't know. I think that people should be a little more upfront about something like that, because I never would have given them permission to do that. I would have gone elsewhere. Although, I don't know, in the industry, it may be industry-wide, and, you can't get their services without agreeing to it. I don't know, but to me that seems wrong. I shouldn't have to give people direct access to my bank account. That's just not right. I mean, I can, if I choose to do it, for instance, auto pay and that kind of thing, that's fine. I don't use auto pay because I just don't like the idea of having somebody go into my account. I would never have agreed to that had I known it. But anyway, turns out it wasn't fraudulent. It was legitimate. So $800 coming out of my paycheck this month. That's going to sting. I may not be able to get to quartzite. That's bad. I am running low on medication, and I need to get down to quartzite because I need to go into Algodones and get some more medication. And I'm not willing to go to a doctor. I'm not going to give $500 to somebody for me to get pills. That's stupid. Don't get me off on that tangent. I've been on enough soapboxes this week already. So anyway, I might be okay. I don't know. I have to get out my calculator and see what's going on and all of that. But so anyway, other updates. I'm still here. I think I'm here. My 14 days are up at the end of this week, I think. But in light of the financial circumstances, I may just opt to move somewhere else for another couple of weeks and just kind of work my way down to quartzite. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't decided all of that yet. But all right, let me get this all put together and get it uploaded to YouTube. As always, appreciate your comments, suggestions. Thanks for your points of view on how you accomplish your nomad needs. It's always good to have other ideas. I've already incorporated some of them into my daily routine. So I appreciate all your comments. And thanks for the subscriptions and the clicks and the likes and all that good stuff. Keep up the great work. I'm growing a little bit every day, an inch a day. And eventually I'll get there maybe, but I don't know. I think that's it. All right, guys. Love you. Later.